Oh, hello, this is Tak Chong from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. With prices keep going up, people are more interested to eat at home and to save money. For example, instead of paying $10 for an order of fried rice, you can make fried rice for 2 to 3 people in less than $2. Besides, it is going to be more economical to make your own fried rice, but it also will be more healthy. And you are free to make adjustments to your fried rice and put in whatever ingredients that you prefer. Also, making fried rice is very simple. There's almost no way that you can screw up a fried rice, except the rice has to be right. Another reason is that fried rice is so convenient because it takes only about 10 minutes to make a large portion of fried rice. And you can put almost anything that you want into a fried rice. And to make a good fried rice, there are only a few things that you have to pay attention to. And in this video, I want to point out to you some of the important considerations that you should take before you make a fried rice. My YouTube channel is to promote template-based cooking. And this video provides you a basic fried rice template that you could modify to create as many variations that you would like. Furthermore, fried rice is also very personal and subjective. A great fried rice for one person might not be that good for another person, and vice versa. However, there are one single important factor that determines what makes a good fried rice or not is the starting point, which is the rice. A fried rice all start out with cooked rice. And the best rice for making fried rice are long grain rice. You can either use regular long grain rice or you can use jasmine long grain rice. The hallmark of a good fried rice is the rice. The rice should be dried enough that it's separated into individual kernels. And also the rice should be slightly fried, have a crispy texture. There are many different kinds of rice, and a lot of it to do with how much moisture they're going to absorb during the cooking process. For example, long grain rice will absorb less moisture, so therefore they tend to be more firm. Even then, when you first cook the rice, when you take the rice out of the rice cooker or out of a pan, they turn to be wet and fluffy. At this stage, they are definitely not good for fried rice because when you fry them, they tend to stick together. At the end result, the fried rice will be soggy rather than have that crisp texture. Now here is an example of rice that has been sit in the refrigerator for several days. As you can see that the rice kernels are more distinct and separate from each other because they have been dried out during this process. Therefore, when I cook rice, I always cook extra rice and I put some of them in the refrigerator for eating later. So my recommendation is always cook more rice than you need to eat for that meal because you can always store them in the refrigerator. Rice has excellent shelf life. They last for at least 10 days to 2 weeks. And they warm up beautifully in the microwave oven. So if you cook extra rice, it will never go to waste. There are many ways to cook fried rice. One of the most important determining factors is that how you want to cook your eggs. Eggs definitely is an important part of fried rice. So the question becomes is that how many eggs should you add to your fried rice? In my case, when I cook fried rice, I will put in 2 eggs per person. For example, if I'm going to cook a fried rice as the primary dish for my wife and I, then I will put in 4 eggs. Now for this fried rice meal, actually I'm going to put in 6 eggs. And the reason is that because in addition to use as a meal for dinner that night, I'm also going to use the leftover for the lunch next day. The number of eggs that you want to add to the fried rice could be based on what your nutritional calculation of how much protein that you need for a particular meal. It takes only about a couple minutes to scramble the egg. Next, I add the rice to the wok. And here I add about 2 cups of cooked jasmine rice. This rice has been in the refrigerator for about 4 days. The nice thing about making fried rice is that you can use rice up to a week or 10 days old. I use a really nifty kitchen tool known as a hamburger meat masher to break up the fried rice. You can pick up this tool online or from places like Walmart. There's really no better way to break up the rice than this very nice tool. I used to use just the wok spatula, but there's much greater tendency for me to spill the rice. So here are the basic things that you need to know how to make a good fried rice. I find that fried rice is an excellent opportunity to eat more vegetables. One way to include vegetables in fried rice is by adding frozen vegetables. This is a frozen vegetable mix. They are just the perfect size to mix into the fried rice. This is a 12-ounce bag, and you can get that for about a little bit over $1. Either in this case, I got it from Aldi, or you can get it from many other grocery stores. This frozen vegetable mix contains 4 different vegetables in it. It has carrot, peas, beans, and corn. I took this directly out from the freezer and add to the rice. This works much better than if you thaw them out in advance, either in room temperature or in the microwave. Using this approach, the vegetables actually maintain their texture better. Before I try to thaw them out first, and I find that the vegetables become very soggy. You can actually add any frozen vegetable that you would like to the fried rice. But the best is to find frozen vegetables that are in small pieces. There are several advantages in this case because first of all, they cook faster, and secondly, they blend better with the fried rice. And this turned out to be a very good way to eat more vegetables, particularly for children. Because when the vegetables and the rice blend all together, you don't feel like that you are eating vegetables at all. Next is about how do you season the fried rice. Let me talk a little bit about the different approach to season your fried rice. The most common way is to season the fried rice with something like soy sauce. Now this will add more moisture to the fried rice. If that's how you like it, then you should do it. However, if you are like me, that you like the fried rice to be dry, then I will skip the soy sauce, then I will use the salt instead. And often I season my fried rice, use my basic seasoning mix. You can take a look at this video and to see what are the components of this basic seasoning mix. And it turned out that the flavor of the fried rice is probably the most important determining factor of whether this fried rice will come out well or not. And after the quick taste test, I decided that for this particular fried rice, I'm going to add a touch of oyster sauce. I'm cooking this fried rice for a friend, and he liked his fried rice more on the moist side. So the addition of oyster sauce and soy sauce will achieve that. This constant adjustment of the flavor is what I would call flavor chasing. Now this is truly an important aspect of my cooking system because ultimately you like foods is because you like the flavor. However, this fried rice has a huge margin of error in terms of its flavor because you already has many of the components that will give this fried rice great flavor. That includes the eggs and also the frozen vegetables. You'll be surprised how much the frozen vegetables add to the flavor of this fried rice dish. Now you can make further adjustment to the frozen vegetables. For example, you can add more frozen sweet corn. A friend of mine has a daughter. She loves sweet corn. So when he makes the fried rice for her, he will substitute the frozen vegetables entirely with only sweet corn. Another friend of mine, when he cooks his fried rice, he will add frozen edamame, which is soybean. These frozen vegetables are very inexpensive. They are excellent way for increase the consumption of vegetables. There are so many ways that you can change up on this fried rice. First of all, it is very simple and you don't really need very much. All you need is to have some rice in the refrigerator and also have some eggs and frozen vegetables. Then you are good to go. Since this is a template, and the possibility to generate variations to this fried rice is almost endless, I think really your imagination is the only limitation. And by some experimentation, you will find out what the flavor that you enjoy most. And this is what makes the template-based cooking such a good cooking approach, because you can constantly make changes and create the flavor that you love. And by knowing this basic template, you don't need any recipes. So when you cook, you can cook with spontaneity. And each time when you go into the kitchen, you know that you can explore and find out something new about any particular dish. And this is what makes cooking fun. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routines using my fast cooking system. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.